What up, what up, what up? Bankroll 10, bet it up, bet it up, bet it up. All right, y'all, we got this 71 Chevelle in here. It's already had the suspension and stuff like that done over the years. But got a big block, fuel injected, runs pretty good. But we're gonna change the front brakes. Got Willwood, 6 pistons going on there, and big ones 15, 16, whatever the hell they are. Brembos is what they're on here. Big stupid ass brake, big whatever you want to call it. The weights on the brake pads, garbage. To me, garbage. Y'all like that shit? Y'all like that shit? Y'all like that shit? 24, 12, 9-inch slip. The car was tubbed. Frame notched, narrowed. Somebody else did the coilover setup, then who did the tubs? I'm pretty sure it was Playboy that did the tubs and the frame notch on it. But these coilover setup, and I think he did the uppermost anti-roll. But anyways, this somebody else did, and the geometry, the length, all this completely wrong. Car sits nice and low, but we can see that the rear end was sitting on the anti-roll. This is a 3/8 anti-roll, so it's the small one. We're putting an undermount billet anti-roll on it, so we got that coming. We got the brakes here. I got the coilovers in the house, of course. We went with Viking coilovers. C217, they're shorter. We're gonna put the drop boxes on here with the aluminum coilover brackets, clean it all up. No sense in doing the basic bracket here and moving this in, this and that. The cross brace that's up in there, let's see, you guys can see this cross brace is huge, and I'm pretty sure when I get it out, I'm taking it out because it's too far forward, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna be muffler tube. I know you guys are laughing about that, but thinking I'm just trying to start some shit or cause some shit, but no, that's what places were doing back then. Put some muffler tube up in there. But I'll cut it out and show you how thin it is. But I gotta cut that out. I got another one right there to go in there, mild steel, thick. It's a little smaller, it's not 1.5 inches, it's 1.5 inches, or that one might be 1.5 inches. But I need that cross brace to be as far back as possible. And then the tabs for the coilovers will actually come down. And then the coilover being shorter, and then the super drop box being on here, I'll be able to be at the bottom of it. I'll be able to do my brace that I do, arch brace in there. I got the stands underneath there to take these down because I can't get the wheel off because it's hitting there, but obviously that's because of the tuck. Not a problem. Changing the back brakes too. Let's see. You guys are gonna see it anyways. Here you go. How you like that? How you like that, y'all? The car has like a tint to it, or it's hugger orange. The car is like, sometimes it looks red, so the darker. I don't know, I thought it was red before. But anyways, front caliper, back caliper. I think we got CPC, Crest Hill, powder coating. Got the brackets, got the bolts, got the pads, brackets, pads, all that for the front. The brake lines for the front, the rotors for the back, rotors for the front. Like I said, see how big that is? It's big. Check that, because that looks like it's a 2-piece. And I don't see hubs here. I gotta go through that real fast and see if we ain't missing anything. unless it's the type that's made to go. Well, that's a short offset. Oh, it does have the hub in there, so maybe it's just... All right, anyways, I gotta check that out. But I'll get these wheels and everything off, get the stuff off the back, and show you guys some more about that up. All right, I'm back. So, this was a pain in the ass to get on and to shim it, because again, the Brembo brakes, there, for anybody that wants to cry about the brake line hanging. Anyways, so the powder coat is actually in the way of the brake pad, stuff like that. But anyways, whatever. Shimming, I had to go, they got this little black space around here, but I had to put these two on here to make this work because the caliper was hitting the rotor. It's going on too far. So behind these bolts is the black bracket, so then you had to shim. So I had to shim the top. So the bottom has 3 shims of the shims that come with the packs, the thin ones. And the top has 3, but then I had to put one of these on the top too of this bracket, and I had to use these bolts because the new bolts were too long. I had too much of a space on there. So see, this to go through there and hold that bracket. There was too much space, and that's because of the Brembo stuff that's on here. The brake kit is for a vet, C6, C whatever, vet, this, that. The rotor could be front or back, depending on the year, 97 or 13, some shit like that. So the brackets, so you got, here's the other front side right here, right? These are the little spacer, 2 different size rotors. But this hooking to that Brembo bracket that's on there, this would bolt directly to the vet spindle. And then depending on the 12.88 rotor or the 12-inch rotor, this would apply. You know what I'm saying? You put this on here with the bigger rotor and take it off with a smaller rotor if that's what you're running on the front. So it's just a pain in the ass how I had to shim it to make it work. The back won't work. When, let's see, I filed this side down, this bracket. So this is the bracket that's Brembo, which aftermarket Brembo, to make it work on these cars, stuff like that. So it bolts, 10 bolt, 12 bolt up here, but how it bolts on, and then how that caliper bolts to this. So these were too far out for the black bracket for that caliper. So when I put it all together, this, you couldn't get this on. Once I got it to go on, then when the rotor was on here, the caliper was too far away from the rotor. So if you had the bigger rotor on the back, so I tried a front rotor on the back because it's bigger to see if it made up that, but the front rotor don't clear this diameter on the inside. So this, I mean, you could probably machine this down with this and that, but I don't know if the offset, I mean, the offsets of the rotors, which, let's see, here's the 2 rotors. The offset of the rotors are probably the same. And I think that bracket, you could reverse that bracket. Well, anyways, so this won't work. Yeah, I could take and probably cut the 1/2 inch out of here, weld this back together. Of course, you know, tack it, then mount it all together, see if it clears and if it needs to be moved more, and then tack it again or whatever if it needs to go closer, and then be able to weld it. When it's all tightened up on here, it might work. We might have to do that, but he was calling Winter Circle or calling Willwood or whatever to see the back bracket for that vet kit to go on here, blah, blah. Somebody told me, oh, these calipers are only for the vet, blah, blah. Well, we all know that's BS. All right, so here's another thing. Let me show you guys this. So here's the piece that goes in the middle of there. So they did the orange. Oh yeah, and Hugger orange, I didn't know had a red tint to it. And it's an orange red, orange, whatever. I didn't know that. So the car looks red sometimes, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, Just to let you guys know that if you look at the definition of color orange. And all these years, and I'm 48, I did not know that. But what I'm trying to say is, you can see the clear that's on here? It's really heavy on the outsides. So after they did the orange, then of course, they did the liquid and black. But then they put these back in there, and they cleared over these. So when I pulled it out, look what it did. Took a big ass chunk out. There was no way around getting this out. It was so tight in there. And when I took the bolt and the nut out, look, they cleared it. It's totally cleared. And now I got a nut. So you can see the bolt. Look at the bolt head itself, and look at the shaft. They cleared it. So I think they need to come up with a better way. And anybody else that's out there that's been having Caliper powder coat and stuff, the pads, I can't even get the pads in here on the back. They actually cleared the metal. The metals were in there. See the metal? It's cleared. So there's no, it's just a smooth edge right there. So this has got the little springiness to the middle. It's all the pad, but it's all cleared. You can see the rough ass. I'm trying not to fuck this caliper up anymore, but you can see that. Look at how rough that is. You can't even get the pads in there. So I got to clean all that shit up. But you know how the powder coat is. It's just gonna. So, you know, like I said, I didn't have to show that. I'll be showing shit. It should be happening. So, cross brace. It's not up there no more. Took him a little bit to get it out. But there it is. So yeah, I was saying that it was muffler tube, but it's not muffler tube, it's mild steel. So whoever put this in, they plated the car. And then, like I said, I know. Oh my God. Yeah, that was never greased. That was never greased. Anyways, these right here, not jammed, never were jammed. I'm not trying to pick the shit apart, but I mean, look, these were look, you can't even move it. Not this one moves, but they were never jammed. But he said the rear end ended up coming this way more, and this tire was hitting more. Same thing with this side. And don't get me wrong, the car's been together for a few years, so these the base could have rattled these loose, stuff like that. But the bottoms are, they're jammed. These are the massive arms, which as you can see, whoever undercoated the car, undercoated the arms. I mean, I'll get some overspray on some arms, but undercoated. Stay away from undercoating. And you guys that keep showing, oh yeah, undercoat. Oh, no, get out of here with the undercoat shit. Because then when the next guy has to come in, do some frame notching, frame bracing, coil over, stuff like that, we got to fight with all that nasty ass undercoating. So yeah, like I said, all this shit's coming off. Got to get the axles out, so I got the center open. I don't know what the gear is yet. I don't know, it's like 410 because it's got a small pinion. The exhaust hose I get was recently done. I had to cut the pipes off because they were hitting there. I think I showed that in the beginning of this video. Trans, turbo 400, and a big block, so it's just a 3-speed. But yeah. So I made a reel. That first reel I did with the car up in the air. Here, YouTube, Facebook, IG. And I was like, quick work. So I think that's where I burned myself again. Quick work. And it still won't take that long. I got plenty to do. I put the cross brace in. Like I said, I gotta clean up the sides here. Clean this all up. But I gotta get that cross brace all the way, as far back as possible. Then with the tabs will come more off the bottom, which would be fine because I got the 10-inch coilovers and then the super drops going on here, so I'll have plenty of room down here. So even if I had the shock tabs directly on the bottom of the cross brace, the shock will bolt right in. We got plenty of adjustability on the bottom with the super drop box, and it should all clear. Bus car, the silver 71 convertible. I put 11 hole strips. This is a 9-hole, but I put 11 hole strips on his, and how I put the cross brace and super drop. I ended up having to shave the top. So this is the 9-inch bracket will be welded, or the aluminum bracket, which is only 9 holes, will be down more, so then it won't get into having that trimmed. But I'll mock it all up first, and I'll make the cut on the brackets for the back of the super drop. I'll make them tighter than I normally make them, so I'll get that room. So this bracket, these brackets, how I cut this off, so the distance of, I'm trying to show exact, so I'll cut it closer, so this will sit closer, that way the spring doesn't interfere with up here, which it shouldn't with these, because these do sit a little bit out more than the regular brackets. Super drops, aluminum brackets, best way to go, real shit. I like doing my shit being very distinctive, you know, the way I do it, the way I've been doing it, and I've been doing it like that for years. And I just get better and better with it every time, as long as everything goes right. As long as the welder's welding right. But sometimes, you know, the welder don't want to act right. That's all good. It's a small machine. It's only 180. I said that plenty of times. But alright, y'all. It's dark out. A little cold in here. I got another load of wood for the wood burner, but I've already burned, I think, 20 pieces of wood today. It's a little chilly in here. You guys are like, stop with the heat. See what it says. It's 49.9. I turned the heater off before filming because it's loud. You can hear the fan in the back over there a little bit. So yeah, I wanted to make sure this fit like that. It took a lot. It's got some pressure to the, it's got a little bit of pressure right there, like that. The pad is not all the way to this side because of the powder coat, that same thing, but when you look through the top and you look through the bottom, the caliper is centered with the rotor. So a couple up and down in the driveway, it'll break those pads in. It's all gotta be broken anyways. I was using my left arm to turn the wheel. Let's see, motor axles. There's no leak to the ends, which is good. There was plenty of fluid in it. Looks like it was never changed, but the gear looks good. Yeah, a little bit of a shine to it, but there's no edge. No sharp edge. So that's fine. The posi worked good. Did whole shots on the driveway. The owner wanted me to do it, so did it. Oh, that's awesome. Look at this aluminum. So this is the Brembo bracket for aftermarkets with the Brembo calipers. And then this, I've never seen this hub before. This is a badass aluminum hub, and then whatever that is. He told me what brand it is, but I don't know, I've never seen this before, but it's badass. Now, is this pattern on here 5-inch? Or is it just the same pattern? This is 4-3/4. It's threaded too. Both threaded. Yeah. I wonder if that pattern is bigger. It might just be the same. Anyways, these are those uppers and lowers that you can find on the internet, cheap as shit, and all that time when I talk about the geometry, but bottom ball joint, farther back, the number ball joint. So when this car sits real low, so that's a plus, because once the arm comes up, it kind of straightens it out. So the arms do have a little bit better geometry than stock. Because stock, then we wouldn't be folding over. Yeah, this car sits real low. I'm not getting no road mark. No road mark. Alright, y'all. Get some more shit done. Get the axle tubes cleaned up. Cut all the brackets off. Get that cross brace in there. But yeah, got it up, got it up. Get right back. See that heartbeat up on there. Get right back. All right. I'm back. You know how dusty it is in here. I'm just using the air blower. But anyways, I got all the bracketry cut off there, ground off there. This tube is, they got pits from the factory. Anyways, cleaned up. This side over here, not totally done with yet. Got a little more to go here. So of course, take the cutoff wheel, cut as close as you can, cut as close as you can, angles, whatever, bam, bam, bam. And get it down so that way you're not just grinding and grinding and grinding and grinding. So you can see all that metal, all that metal. So messy job and work. But you guys know that. I don't hide nothing. But yeah, got all this down here to do. But I've been out here for 4 hours just on this, you know. So pain in the ass to, you know, be holding your hands up here, the car's in the air and you're putting all that pressure on the middle of your back. Anyways, I don't know. Got the undermount anti-roll today, and the drop boxes, the ones that I showed in that box are, I mean, obviously the same stuff, that box over there, but I got the ones that are for this car today. I think the ones I have there, I got to replace for this car. But the way that I make the boxes, you know. But yeah, I got that part. And like I said, I think I am gonna, or having a problem getting these brackets. So I'm gonna take this, measure it in. It's like a 1/2 inch there. So measure it in, a 1/2 inch, mark it, draw the straight line with the straight edge, cut it off. Cut off a 1/2 inch section, put it back on there, tack it on. As of right now, I don't have to take the axles back out yet. I can lock that up because I would rather get this welded and set up before I get this stuff on. The box is most likely going to be, you know, right in here. And then the undermount anti-roll. Yeah, alright y'all. Look, the back calipers are not hanging no more. Uh-oh. In the box. Wait for you to take it back. Alright, on to the next step. Back it up, be right back. Alright, here we are. Got the coilover brackets fabbed up on there. Drop boxes are on there. Welding bracket. Like I said, I made this one, cut these, and I cut it just a little bit shorter than normal. Worst comes to worst, if I can't slide this down, which I know I'll be down here more. That's a pretty big weld right there. And then just a little on the edge, but whatever it is, so well down there. The back of this aluminum inside here, if it doesn't want to slide and line up, just polish the back of this a little bit. But I had to do whatever to keep this farther forward. The rear end still has to go farther forward. I'm about to take the drive shaft out. It's got a 400 in it, 400 yoke. 400 yoke. It's pretty long. So I got the cross brace tacked in there. These screwdrivers are blocking the vent holes in the tank and all this gas that's, you know, leaking out because nobody put any type of breather on there or ran some hoses up with some breathers up there. So it just sloshes around and leaks fuel back here, and then you got exhaust, fuel. I don't know. People do some goofy shit. Oh yeah, on this side, this weld kind of sat on top. And of course, I went through here with the nuts on here, holding this together. I keep one little washer in there for spacing, so that way this keeps it apart, so that way this slides down easier when you take it out, and then when you tighten it up, you know, instead of painting it this, that, whatever, and you don't have that in there, and then you go put it back together, it doesn't want to go in there, and then you're trying to flex this open. My fat ass up underneath here, hitting my shield on the gas tank. It's not too bad. Not too bad. Holding my arms up in there, shaking. All my left hand gloves are jacked up welding gloves, so I like to rest this hand on whatever, and then I end up having to hold both hands out. I didn't have to show that. Okay, this time, not too bad. But still, I set this over that way just a little bit so there'd be an edge here to fill in, you know. And I put those little bevels on the edge there too, so you can get more in there. These are thinner than the other, you know. These are what, 1/8 inch? Let's see this side here. This shit still penetrated. Just may beat myself up about that stuff, but I'm only using that machine. And I had the wire feed up more because I had it on C the other day with what I was welding on the Trailblazer, and then I left it at that. Then I turned the heat back down to B, and I never turned the wire speed back down. So I needed the heat to get in there, but then I had too much wire. It's all good though. Still better than a lot of the shit that's out there. Good Lord. Let me see what you know what I'm talking about with this Driveshaft. Okay. Let me grab this light back here. Right here. So that yoke right there is long as shit. I already moved it out of the trans. Something like that. I already moved it back a little bit, but that's out in the trans and will not let the rear end go forward anymore. So these 400 yokes, they have the spline. The splines start inside there, like a good 1.5 inches inside the end. So the end is bottoming out in the trans. So I'm gonna take the drive shaft out, see how much is there, cut it off. So that way that'll be able to slide in more. That'll move the rear end forward where I want it. Right now, this is just, I just put this in here just to hold it in place. But I need this room back here for that coilover to sit. And you can see how bad it was hitting the gas tank the way they had it. I got that bar back more, but I only got it tacked in. So if I gotta move it farther forward, I'll move it farther forward. But as of right now, it doesn't need to go farther forward. It would be good. The rear end is just too far back. So yeah, I'll get that. So placing this on here, I'm at 8 3/4 from the rear end lip here to the center, 8 3/4. So the lowers, they're basically straight, falling straight back. They're on an angled back just a little bit, but that's fine, it'll work. The anti-roll, which you can see in the box right there, which is the arms that are on this one. He ended up getting the 3/8. I don't know why, but it got shipped to my door. So this has got the 3/8 ends on it. But this one, as you can see, that arm is way longer. So I think for the undermounts, a lot of people were saying that the arms were like too short, and then the length ended up being too short because they were putting them on the rear end square, where I put the brackets farther forward to make that difference up. But this one I might have to go square with that to the rear end. And then the brackets themselves, when they come down off the rear end, you know, they angle forward. And then I bevel the edges. So that way the weld will sit inside there. So yeah. Why I'm moving the rear end forward is to get the where it was. When the car came in, you guys seen, you guys probably didn't see it, but there was a big gap. I was like, why is there a big gap? The rear end should be farther forward. That would straighten up the coils a little bit. That would have probably got it off the tank, but the drive shaft's the problem. Why the rear end wasn't farther forward. There's plenty of room for it. The tub's clear, all that clears. There's no rubs anywhere except for these back 2 corners. So we'll get that to stop. All right. Yeah, so we got this caliper on this side. My son did this one today. I don't have the pads in it yet, but maybe this bolt sound on right. Oh, he started taking it off, I think. No, something's not right. Something's keeping the rotor wild one. Yeah, I gotta tighten it up some more. Put another one on there, tighten it up. And then we can put the pads in it and see exactly how it's spaced out. pain there when the stuff is not for the car, and then you're making it for the car. It takes more time, more fitment. But all right, got that on there. 71, you guys. 71 always has the two individual, you know what I'm saying? It's one lens, but it's two separate, you know what I'm saying? That makes sense. When you see the solid, like 72. Yes, of course, somebody could have switched this and switched that. You could have a 71 front end down, you could have a 70 front end down, you could have this and that. But 71, separate. Got it out. Right back. All right. Let me get to the point. So I went and I took the U-bolts out of the drive shaft. I took the U-bolts out and I started moving everything around to get the drive shaft out. And then, for some reason, well, the drive shaft went in. So I don't know what was stopping it. I have no idea what was stopping it. Because before, with this hanging, with just the uppers end, nothing on the bottom, I was pushing the rear end and it would just teeter. This how we go forward, that's how we come back. That's how we go forward, that's how we come back. I push in the middle and it would not go in. So I was dead set on that was the longer yoke, and I was gonna be able to cut it off, this and that. And when the car came in and the wheels were sitting back, this and that, I don't know. I undid the drive shaft. It wasn't hitting nothing up there. I put the shocks back in at one hole lower for right now, so I can set up the anti-roll. Still gotta move these up. This is not where these are gonna stay. I have the upper in there, the tabs on there. I do weld in and out of both sides of the tabs, and I weld the outsides first so it spreads open, and then I weld the insides. I don't know what the hell is going on, but with the ground on the tube, I don't know. I didn't want to weld for shit. The inside ones are like really nice, but then I always go over the edges, but this one's a little bigger. But anyways, it's welded, it's penetrated, nice. The ones you can't see on the inside are perfect. The ones on the outside are shitty. But the ones on the frame, from the tube to the frame, I'm trying to show you guys, look at that. It went in there perfect. Again, that stuff I don't have to show. But I do, I show everything. So, I don't have anybody here to help me. I need to hold the anti-roll up there. I know I make so many fucking excuses. Wait. I got nobody here I got the anti-roll ready. I got the rear end ready. I got the shocks back in. Upper bolts are in. Shocks are where I want them. I'll be able to do the anti-roll. But now that the arms, like I said, the arm length's on there longer, I have to be able to set it where I want to set it. I'm going to be cutting these exhaust hangers off, and I'm going to mount them back on this side because I need that bracket to go up here in this area for the link, and the link the link basically ends up right where this bolt is. So I'll be able to plug weld it. I don't care for bolting it, doesn't matter. Set it up here on this lip, clean all this up, weld it. I'm a welder, so I weld. Same thing on this side. This bolt is just a little bit out more than what that side is, but both links obviously come up into the same spot. So the bracket on the housing would be, you know. And then I still have enough room. I was worried with that, having the longer arms on it, like I said, than that anti-roll, you know, I was afraid I wouldn't be able to put my signature brace across the back. So I do have enough room, and I held it up there myself. Here, boom, I have plenty of room to go from this corner to this corner, clean up the housing, and go behind the lip or go right on the bottom. It just dripped on me. Look at that. I got no rags. I got a mess in here. Okay. So yeah, my arched brace that goes through there, and I have a piece of 1 5/8 right there. I did do that cross brace up there. Like I said, I did it with 1.5 inch mild steel because I wanted to fit it back there more to give me more room. Every little bit adds up. How I put these brackets on farther, they're real tight to this. So when you put this bolt in, which this isn't the bolt for it, this is just set, you have to thread it in. It's not that tight, but like the top one pushes, like see, top one pushes in and out. The bottom one's a little tight. So if I end up having to go down here, it's gonna be a little tighter. This one, I did have to file the back of the aluminum right here just a little bit with the grinder to slide it in there, but then it went right in. But yeah, I'll be able to put my brace on there. We didn't talk about doing that, but that's just what I do. Put the super drops, put the braces on there. Normally the box, so this is what I was off on. Normally the box is out more and my gap, you know, I space the brackets in more and then keep my clearance set of frame up there. But this one, I don't know why I was thinking 8 3/4, why I was thinking I needed to go to the center. Like I said, I don't, all the blueprints are in my head. I don't keep the files and all that. But this is a tight fit, tight fit, tight fit. And then the other, even though this is a 9-inch lip cover and it's already narrowed as far as it's gonna be, there's plenty of room here for later on. Like let's say if you wanted to go with 9-inch ends on this, you can cut this off, put the 9-inch ends, you ain't gotta worry about a controller box in your way, none of that stuff's in your way. So you don't have to go all the way out. Then that bar would be on an angle and then your coilovers mount on the inside and this and that. Booyah. So, anti-roll, I'm cutting these brackets, like I said. You know, the stock stuff, if this was those calipers to go on of that, like they're saying, this would be thicker. So that's why I'm ending up having to shim more. But this one, like I said, is just too far away from the rotor. Cut a 1/2 inch out of there, weld it back together, you know, mock it all up with the caliper on here, tack it, take the caliper out of the way, burn down the back. That'd be welded. And then if I need to shim, if the caliper goes on and it's too close, like how the front one is, I can shim it off easier than trying to go back. That I gotta grab 2 brake lines for the back. And you know, I don't put braided lines on the back because I use the little adapter on the back of the caliper and then run a hard line because it's a stationary caliper. Caliper doesn't move, the pistons move. This setup, the caliper did move on the back. No, the caliper didn't move. I put it all the way in the boxes. But anyways, I had the braided on there, but I put that in the box. I guess he's got those sold to somebody. Anyways, all right, I'm just gonna yap. Slowly but surely, I'm dealing with this cold. Today's Saturday, and Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is supposed to be really cold. So definitely, it looks like Tuesday, I'm probably not gonna be able to come out here because it's gonna be pointless. So I'm working tomorrow for a few hours. I should be able to get it close to buttoned up. Front caliper on this side, get that shimmed out, get the front brake lines on it, and it'd be real close to getting done. All right, y'all, better up, I'll be back. More business. All right, back on it. I got the anti-roll set up on there, the brackets on there. Got it welded up here. It's just a dark spot, but anyways, got them pieces welded up in there. Got the brackets on the housing. That side's in there. I said it's only the 3/8 one, but I got behind here because it overlapped, but I got behind here as much as I could. I'm getting the gun up in here, the tie bar being here. But still, all that and then plug welded. That's all good. I gotta clean up this exhaust like I did that side. Which, I think this stuff's aluminized, and that, you know, because they welded to it, I'm gonna ground that stuff off. These were for the hangers. But I didn't notice that they had hangers here too. So, to tell you the truth, they don't move, and that's a lot better there than being back here. All the years of just doing back here with the exhaust. And it's got the X pipe. So a straight pipe, you know, straight with the muffler with the hanger back here, everybody knows they'd be falling off, the bolts be rattling out, stuff like that. But I mean, it's pretty strong. Probably don't need to clutter up that area by welding these back on, which, you know, we're not even the same length. But I mean, I don't see the point of putting it back on. But all right, I have the tube on the bench right there, 1.5 inches. And I'm gonna make it from a brace underneath here so I can clean up the housing because it's still dripping. I'll clean that up, get it ground where I want it so I can weld it to there. There's been times before I'd be back a little more. Other times I'm all the way up in there, depending on how the bend comes out. I think for these rear ends, for the 10 volts, the GM rear ends, I think is like 2.5 on my bend, on that little bend over there. But anyways, I'll get that brace in there. After I get the brace in there, weld it up, maybe get the axles out so I can set the brake depth. But I got this side sitting on there again, but I got to shim it more. I'm gonna measure on the inside of the caliper the distance. So how the caliper was sitting way out here, I'm gonna measure this inside distance, you know, from the caliper edge to there, and that's gonna give me a basic number, and that I'll be able to take off this bracket. So with the axle out of the way, I'll be able to draw the line on this bracket and then draw that. So the first cut will be as close to the bolt, you know, close to this hole, and then the second cut will be whatever I need to take off. Boom. Then I'll be able to put the axle back in, C-clip back in, so the axle sits in the exact spot. Put the rotor on, take this piece, hold it up there, see how it lines up, you know, and then I'll be able to tack it, see how that's doing. If it's good, if I go a little shorter, it's fine because we can shim right here. You know, it's got the shims for that. But by measuring what I want to measure out here and taking off this, it's gonna work. He never did contact me back, the owner, to find out if they did have the different brackets. And like I said, the people I did talk to said, oh, that kit's made for a Corvette and that's it. So they don't want to deal with me or something. So whatever. But this will work. And this is thick. So it's not changing nothing. If anything, it's making it shorter. Rotor wise, probably could have got the same exact size rotor as the front, because like I said, the front is 12.88, so they call it 13, and this back here is like 12. So I bet you if we could have just got that, but then I've been waiting for this and waiting for that and this and that, I don't have time for that. I've already wasted enough time with dealing with the coal and this and that, and not getting as much done as I should have got done, and what I could have got done. So because that'll work out. It'll all be welded up, be able to bolt on, be able to shim it all out. Pads work, all that. This front one over here, I think I spun it before. Now I got the right lug nuts. But anyways, I spun it before and it was hitting, but obviously it didn't have both, you know, bolted on across from each other, whatever. And then it, you know, keeps it centered, not any hitting anything. So, just trying to show everything. Alright, let me get this brace made, and I'm back. Booyah. Alright. BANKROLL Tim bedded up. Back at it. Man, that's a lot of tire, isn't it? 13 inches overall. So yeah, I missed a few steps on this, but as you can see, it's all together. All painted up, all bolted up. It's not perfect. Not perfect. Never said that was perfect. But it should have been done, but here's the problem. Anyways, I went and I cut both the brackets, beveled it, boom. This side's all shimmed out, you know, snugged it up. The wheel turns, got the fitting in the bag. I got a set of hard lines to go from the T to there. They ended up being the green ones. I couldn't get the copper ones. This one had the clear on it, which you can see, I already talked about that. And that side tightened up, it cracked it even more. But the other caliper doesn't have any clear on this at all. It's like they removed it when they did the work that they did. This one they didn't. So this caliper, like, is shitty compared to the other calipers. But anyways, not trying to purposely point it out. The weld, I had to grind it. The 50s, these are still not totally on there 100%. But what I'm trying to show you guys is this rim has absolutely no pad on the back of the rim. See how flush that is? I didn't look at it until the other day. Yesterday when it was really nice. Really nice today too. Put the wheel up on there and guess what hit? Hit the caliper. So I had one 3/4 spacer, all-star spacer here that the holes were messed up, whatever. But I had to put that on there to see if it would clear, and it clears. So the problem is we have no room up top for excuse me, for as low as this car sits and how low he wants it to sit. So it's got a set of Moser axles in it. We need 3/4 of an inch. Got plenty of spline. So we got a set of C-clip eliminators coming, Moser. Part number 9200, which is the one for 10 volt, 12 volt for the small bearing. I think it's 1.4, 1.5, whatever. Matches up to the 5707 bearing, the size of the axle. So now, take all this back off, take the cover back off. When I glued the cover on, there was some clear silicone, but that was yesterday, so I just wiped it right now. I was able to just wipe it right off. So it didn't seat, so it must have been something in here that got froze or cold or who knows in the building. So take the cover off, get the axles back out of it, take the center section out of it, narrow the housing 3/4 of an inch. So 3/4 of an inch is going to bring that in more. We got plenty of rotor clearance there. This rotor is so flush, real short offset. That will be able to go in. These bolts right here obviously go bye-bye. The C-clip eliminator will sit on the inside of here and go this way, bolt in from where these are. Press those onto the axles and it gives you a measurement on there. Outside of axle flange, back side of C-clip eliminator. I have my press right there. I'll be able to set that. Cut the 3/4 of an inch off the end. There's enough splines to go back into the center. These are just some 28 spline axles in here. So yeah, well, it was supposed to be quick work, this, that, blah, blah, blah. But it's custom, it's all custom. Yeah. So I was getting ready to set it down. I can still set it down, like, you know, that side's already, well, I'd have to take the caliper off, bolt the wheel directly on. But I know my height is there. I gotta throw this left front wheel on, but I just put the other pads in this back rotor. You'll see what I'm saying with this one? This one, they didn't clear. There's no clear on the bolt or on this piece. This piece slid right out. The brake pads went right in there. I just put the caliper up on the rotor. Got plenty of clearance on both sides. Put the fitting in the back of it. How big? Out there having fun, getting money again. She was out there playing in the mud earlier. Oh my God, she was covered in mud. She had her snow suit on, snow stuff, and had it. Oh yeah, see, look. Does that fit out here in the country? Being a little hillbilly? All right, y'all. So that's what's going on with the Chevelle. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these front brakes all done. The pads are not in this one, but like I said, clean up. There's a nasty burr right here. That burr, I'll take the file in here, file all that, clean up all that. Get the pads and everything in here, and then get the lines on there. As you can see here before, whoever did whatever, that's from the brake fluid running down. Oh, that's been a while. But yeah, look at that. I'll put a little paint over it. But get the front, totally done. Obviously the C-clip eliminators are gonna take a day or two to get here. But I'll get the axles and all that stuff out, get it all ready. Do the 3/4 of an inch narrow. Obviously with the C-clip eliminators, when the axle goes in, The axle goes in. You don't have to worry about lining it up with the C-clip because that will no longer be there. And then put the center pin back in it. But gotta have the nugget out in order to put the pucks in there to run the narrowing bar for when you cut the end off and move the end back on, which you can see before. See how there's more room on top than on bottom, which I've explained this before. The axle tubes will get bent upwards as they go out over time. This is a 8.2, 8.5, 8.2, whatever, 8.2. So most likely was the original rear end that came in this car, 71. This one, same thing. You see more of a gap up here than down here. But whatever, I'll cut. I got plenty of room here. I can cut it wherever I want right here. So with the saws all clear, same here, this and that, you can cut it in the middle, whatever. Do your first cut to the outside, then do your second cut. Instead of trying to cut this part and then take this to the bench and cut it. Anyways, I'll take 3/4 of an inch out of there. Measure from this edge out to wherever. Put the yellow mark, boom. Then, that's my number, 15 or whatever, 16 or whatever the number is. Subtract the 3/4 from there, and then the new mark, you know, of what you want your overall. So this overall from here to there, 3/4 of an inch shorter, wherever you measure to. And that's when you take out the 3/4. You'll be right back to where you were at. Okay, go, if you're gonna play in the mud, go play in the mud. Okay? You wanna say hi? Hi.
Mud.
Mud ball? Yeah.
Mud.
So yeah, squaring up the rear end right now, tire clearance to the body. So that's tight right there, but how they chrome. But when the car came in, I mean, it had a big gap back here, or in the front of here, and the back, like I said, was so close that it was rubbing. And they did that because the coilovers were on such an angle. They were trying to make, actually, it would have helped if they had just moved it forward. And all that stuff I was talking about, the drive shaft biting and this and that, and I couldn't figure out what it was biting on. Well, duh, was the H pipe right here. I don't care for this H pipe shit. I'd rather have, you got this side of the motor, 4 cylinders, this side of the motor, 4 cylinders. Behind the car, you hear that doom, 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 the ching, the ching, the ching. When you do this shit, you lose that. You end up with a fucked up noise. I don't care for this. Give me 2 straight pipes and 2 nice mufflers, and it's gonna sound way better than this shit. This shit was started back in the day, like with Mustangs 5.0s and shit like that. People back then were saying this did this and this did that, no more horsepower, blah, blah. But everybody does this now. Now, leaves the exhaust more secure, stronger, so it ain't, you know, flexing and banging and clanging. I mean, that, you know, that's pretty tight. But anyways, the drive shaft was hitting on here, and it wouldn't let the rear end move. And I did not realize that. So now you can see that the yoke is in there. The rear end has moved forward. A little bit positive opinion right here, but that once it's on the ground, once I set all that, who knows, this side might be a little shorter distance from center up. But yeah, I'll get these front brake lines on it. I'll get the back ready. And this thing would be one step closer to getting the hell out of here. You know, it's nice weather. I want to get more done. But now, these next few weeks, it's going to be nicer and nicer and nicer. Not even got a lot more done. Alright, y'all. So yeah, got to narrow it. And of course, a couple more dollars. Excuse me. Alright, let me get back to it. April 10. Got that up. Get right back. Alright. Got the C-clip eliminators. 9200. 1.400 thousandths. GM, small axle, blah, blah. Got the All-Star 3/4 thick, nice aerospace spacers. I got the rear end cut. Rear end is cut. I still got to get the nugget out of there. I got the C-clip eliminators pressed on. 2 5/8. So from outside of axle to here, 2 5/8. That's what it is. The lock ring is on there. This axle I have not cut that off yet. This axle I cut off the 3/4 of an inch. Boom, I put the axle in the housing. Got plenty. Got plenty of splines going into the center. Aftermarket axle has longer splines on than stock. Stocks, if you're going for looks and you do C-clip eliminators because you want to do a 1/2 inch or a 3/4 of narrow, you gotta take a cutoff wheel and you cut these splines a little bit longer. But that's for some basic shit, not for a big block and stuff like that. So yeah, all that stuff. You can see my breath in here. So got a little chilly in here. The ends, I was debating where I should cut them off because of how they were done. You know, I mean, the rear arm was narrowed a lot, but you can see how it was bent. The axle tubes were bent. I'm probably gonna clean this up some more. My cuts are not perfect, but when you bevel it and all that shit, my number is 14 1/4. This yellow line right here, outside of that face, from the inside of the tube right there. But I'll have the bar in there. Then after you leave this outer bearing piece on here until after you're done. When you're done, then you cut this down. You leave like a 1/4 inch of this on there. And then the C-clip eliminator obviously bolts in from the back. And then your brake bracket goes on here, so you bolt it all together. And the brake bracket goes in between the C-clip eliminator and that. But you gotta cut this outer ring off. Some people get ahead of themselves and they cut this outer ring off and then realize if you're narrowing, you can't narrow now because the ring's gone. Anyways, if you can understand that. Somebody was saying the other day, oh, get a mic. I deal with all this metal and I've been talking real low, but then again, the phone is like 3 inches from my face. And I think that's another reason people are ended up hearing me breathe so heavily, although I'm a fat ass. All right, so that's where we're at on this. The front calipers, we went through and cleaned off the, when I say we, me and my son. My son cleaned off the powder coat and got it all back on there, all shimmed. She got dirty. But it's all on there, boom, now. Just gotta get the lines on the front. This one over here, same thing. Pads are in there, this one spins a little easier. Got a little dirty, but yeah, I had to get in here and get all this shit off the inside. But it's all on there. It's all shimmed good. And then here in the over to the pad. So, you can see the clear on the powder coat. But anyways, made another set of boxes. Somebody ordered another set for me. Boom. The welder and this welder. It's still penetrated though. So yeah, another set of boxes made. Those begin shipped out tomorrow. I got a mess in here again. I did have it cleaned up the other day. So, anyways, this thing, I'll get the brake lines on it, bleed the front brakes, get the wheels on it. It's gonna need an alignment. After I do that, have everything for the back. Get that nugget out. Put my bar in there, put the pucks in there, get the ends all set, weld them on. I gotta get some silicone yet. They got the aluminum stuff for that, for the C-clip eliminators, but I need to get more silicone. The stuff that I had put on the cover, let's see if there's some left on here. Yeah, see how clear it is, but watch this. It's still gooey as hell. And it has a very, very faint smell of silicone. So maybe it wasn't even silicone, maybe it was some type of grease. I don't know. I would have noticed the next day that it didn't set up, and I would have taken it back off. But I had it all cleaned up, and now I made a big mess again because I was cutting and grinding. But yeah, all right, y'all. That's where we're at on the Chevelle. I run into so much little shit, but it's all good. All right, y'all. 71 Chevelle, big block, 24s, 9-inch slips, 13 inches overall. Booyah. But yeah, like I was saying, no back pad. Like, look at that. Completely flush. Well, if it wasn't the vet, the kit wasn't ordered for the vet. Maybe the back would have been thinner, but I'm still thinking it would have been a problem because the rim has no back pad to it. So anybody out there that's that, before you narrow, make sure you mock up. Make sure that the caliper clears the back of the rim, and if it doesn't, then you know you got to narrow more. Whatever that difference is, you got to narrow more, and then you got to run on spacer. But all right, I'll be back. Bet that up, bet it up, bet it up. Back on channel. Yo, 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 yo. Bet it up, bet it up. I got it narrowed. You know, the bar goes in there. Pucks go in there. Didn't do too bad on cleaning it up and getting that to flow all the way around. It was previously narrowed, and the way that it was narrowed, I cleaned it up real good, burned it all the way in. It's a pain in the ass to get in here. But it's small, there's no holes. You know, I have my shield on real close to this, having the light, you know, get in there with it on the car. This side and here, yeah, just a little overlap bugger right there because I was going from this side, the front side, and I couldn't see. But anyway, that after I already had it welded. But as you can see, well, it's well there. So that was 3/4 of an inch. The two fucking pieces, 3/4 of an inch. These pieces right here, this is funny. These are pretty heavy plates. I've seen them before, but I'm not sure what they are. So one of these was in each side of the frame with one bolt. But they were in the pocket of the frame in here. And they were stuck in here. As I was taking the air hose and I was blowing through everything, I kept hearing a rattle, and I put my hand up in there. I didn't find another bolt, but those plates, they're a motherfucker to get out of there too. So he never said there was any noise or anything to the back, but obviously it was all up in here, and somehow, I don't know what the hell the plates are for. They was up in both sides of the frame. I found the one, I went ahead and checked the other side, and there was another one in there. So I decided to keep them right there. I'll use this or something. It's gotta be at least 3/16. There. I don't know what they're for. I'll be right there. I don't see anything that was unbolted. I don't know. Oh yeah. Get this puck back off here. I get on it pretty good. Get that puck back off of there. Get the brakes on. Oh, what I was saying. See this offset? So this offset right here, being for the back, this is what caused, you know, the caliper to be farther to where, so the back wheel got to have pad on the back of it, and that's why. So if this was like a, you know, a wheel with a rotor that was offset with, you know, back here more, then the caliper went on and went flush probably with here, then it would have cleared the back of the rim. So again, this kit being for a vet. You guys seen on the boxes when I said that, the boxes are right there, it said Corvette. Corvette, see that on the rotor box right there? So anyway, it being a, so even though this caliper, it's possible the caliper is directly for a vet, But then again, I don't think so. I think it's just the rotor is what makes the placement. You know, the rotor was back more offset, then it won't right on. So, anyways, it ended up working out. Plenty of the bare brake setups do the same thing, where you got to narrow the rear end more than what you originally want to, because you got to clear it just like I'm doing here, and then you run a 3/4 spacer. And when I say spacers, again, I showed it before, but All-Star. These are solid ass spacers. So you got your 5-on-5 hole is the only hole that has a 5/8 hole. And then these are 1/2-inch holes. So you got 4.5 bolt circle 5 butt, you got 4 3/4 bolt circle 5 butt, but the stud fits directly in there, so there's no slop. So it all presses together. Right? When the wheel tightens on there, it all presses together. So it works. But all right, real quick, I am going to get my bar out of there, get my pucks out of there, clean up inside there, push a rag through the housing with the pry bar, clean out any grit that's in there, clean up the pig center section. I kept the shims to the right side that they had it, the shims to the left side, the race to the right side, everything how it was set up, going right back in there. Get that in there, torque the bolts, 65 foot-pounds, and then bolt the axles in. The backing plate obviously goes here, then the axle goes in, so I have to make sure this, I gotta clean this side up, and then I'll run a little bit of silicone on this side, put the brake piece on there, put some more silicone on the back side of the C-clip eliminator, and then the bolts go in from the back. So that was the other thing with this. I had to make sure I cleaned this up real good. I should have moved this inwards. I could have made my cut over here and then doubled it and had it over here. But the outside was just real nasty and overlapped. And I knew I was gonna have to deal with the bolts going in this way to bolt to the C-clip eliminator. So I needed to clean up this area. It had the tabs on there before. These tabs were on there before, so that was obviously easier to put that in. And now you got to be able to put the not 3/8, whatever you want to call it, the bolt, and then be able to get it with the wrench, so you can tighten it up, you know, so the bolts do go in there. But yeah, then silicone on the back side of the C-clip eliminator, and all this presses together when you tighten it up here and evenly tighten it up. That'll put that in. Then it'll be bolt and axle. If the axle's ever break, it's not going to come out. If the axle will ever broke before with the C-clip and you got disc brakes won't allow the axle to come out either. Just move around a little bit. But that's a big block. 28 spline. It should have been upgraded before to 30 spline center, stuff like that, whatever. But it wasn't. I don't know what the deal was. Oh well. But it's a street car, spinning tires on the street. He's not going to the track with it. He's good with the 28 spline. Yeah, so, and they're more, they're aftermarket axles, so aftermarket axles obviously stronger. These are motor axles. I don't know if anybody noticed. They're just, old. I still got to cut the 3/4 off of there, like I did this one. I probably already showed that too, but that's a wrap. All right, y'all. I'll be back with the business. All right. About to get these brakes bled. On here. Pretty sure that's an old mark. I double check everything. I'll put it back up in the air, show you guys all the brakes are on there, coilers are on there, rear end covers on there, gear lubes in it. Once I get the brakes bled, I get the wheels on there, I'll square up the rear end, jam all the control arms, uppers, lowers, jam the anti-roll links. Yeah. Fronts are all on there. I said the fronts spin now. The lines are on there. fittings, the adapters, boom. Like I was saying in one of my shorts, Willwood, when are you gonna start making the masters somehow to where they can sit level so that way you can top them off? So they're not like that. So what I'm gonna do is put the car, put the floor jack under the rear end. I'm gonna put my stilts on the back legs, lean the car forward a little bit so I can put more in there. Use the vacuum bleed, and then do the final. Ooh, yeah, something is definitely leaking on this side, or I made a big ass mess and it just spread, but we'll see if there's a, oh, yep, this side's got a wet spot. All right, gotta figure that out. I noticed that. No, that's not even down. Whatever. Anyways, I blew it off. It's still dirty. Shit gets real dirty. I don't have all the lights on yet in here. But yeah. All right, let me get to that. I can't get out here and do some pumping. Sometimes I like to open bleeder, whichever bleeder, so back right first. I'll put my vacuum bleeder on there and just use the vacuum bleeder as a catch and open a bleeder and have him push the pedal to the floor and hold, and then I'll close it. Best way that I can always get the most air out the quickest. But all right, y'all. Let me get that going. Be right back. All right, everybody. So with these brakes, we spent a few hours yesterday, whatever, bleeding the shit out of the brakes, trying to get as much air out as possible. It took forever, but things were leaking. That time was leaking the worst. Back there was leaking, and I was like, "What the hell is leaking? Why? How is it leaking?" So with the calipers being powder coated, they took the fitting out. So you got the bleeder, and you got the fitting right here. They took these out. So there was a little bit of the original Loctite, how they come from the factory, from Willwood, this orange color on here. That's actually, if you ever look at the Willwood calipers, you'll see. But when they put these back in, they just turned them in a couple turns. I didn't think to double check those. I was able to crack the bleeder open without it turning that. So that's what ended up having all of these. So 2 per side on the front, 1, 2, that side, and 4 on each rear caliper. I had to go through and tighten these up. And then this is 11/30 seconds is what this one is, but the backs are 10 mil. So whatever. I had to tighten that up to get it to bleed. My son says it feels like there still isn't a pedal, but I'm pretty sure I'm gonna go through the back again, even though I didn't have. It's got the proportioning valve on it too, the Willwood adjustable proportioning valve, and out all the way to the left, all the way to loosen. There's less pressure applying to the rear. So I went ahead and went all the way that way. Then I was like, you know what, I want to put pressure to push more back here. So I twisted it the other way. So I tried the one way, twisted it the other way, tried that way. Both ways, the flow was coming out the same. It wasn't a fast flow coming out, because you know, I got the clear tube on the vacuum bleeder. I can see it. I like to loop it and be able to watch how much air comes out. So the last few times I'm messing with it, very, very, very fine little bubbles. So my main bleed area was this one. Obviously you don't touch the bottom when the camera's running this way. So I'm gonna hit the inner ones today a couple times. But as you can see, I still took the back of the car. So now the car is on an angle forward to try to level off the master cylinder. So that way you could get more fluid in there, or with these big ass calipers, by the time you 2 full bleeds, pump, push, and then boom, now you're going back to the front. to fill the reservoir up again. And then you can't go too high with it because you'll overflow the back of the reservoir, master cylinder, whatever. So it's got that little hole in between the front part of the master and the back part of the master. It's like, why even have that hole in there? Because now you're draining the front and it's going into the back. The lower it goes, back into the front, whichever way you want to take how I said that. But just a pain in the ass. I know people have badass machines and stuff like that, and they bolt the thing to it and then go and open up the bleeder till there's no air. Bam, goes to the next wheel, open the bleeder, bam. Yeah, I don't have all that. I got the vacuum bleeder. Half the time I don't use the vacuum because I feel that the rubber part is pulling air around the bleeder and you're getting false readings. Some cars bleed right out. The bare brakes on that SS Trailblazer, I used the syringe that came with it. I filled them all the way up, boom, went through. We only had to pump them a few times, bam, instantly. That thing, you would touch the brake pedal and it would throw you through the windshield. Nasty, rainy outside, which sucks. And the roads are salty. So, to test drive and to break in the brakes, which these brake rotors obviously don't have a coating on them, so they don't really need to be broke in, they just need to be made sure that they work. Excuse me. It's like 40 degrees in here. I got the heater on, that's what you're hearing. So that sucks too. Waiting for my son to get out here so we can go through the back brakes again. The fronts I have no air, and they push good. When you push it to the floor and I open it later, you'll see it's straight fluid and it comes flying out the fronts and through the hose into the vacuum bleeder. But the backs were just slow. So there might be just two big air pockets on this side of the caliper. I don't know exactly how this crosses in here, how the fluid, but you know, the piston here. So how it goes through, I don't know, maybe there's just a little, but I probably just have some hair caught right here on both sides. I still haven't tightened these up yet because I'm gonna see where it sits. Like I said, I didn't measure the car when it first came in, but it sat low as hell. So I'm gonna make it sit a little lower because I got plenty of clearance and everything. Yeah, that's about it. Get these wheels on the back after I bleed that right there. Actually, I could probably put the wheels on because, you know, the caliper sticks way out behind the wheel. Be able to get like that. It's not like it matters if it breaks the grips on the wheel. But yeah, the battery is still charged up on this thing. So, and then it's supposed to rain tomorrow. See, well, it's supposed to rain for the next couple of days, which sucks. Cold and wet. All right, y'all. Let me guess I'll be back here tomorrow. All right. There it is. Kept it tucked. Everything clears in the back. I did have to lower it all the way down the aluminum bracket to the bottom hole. It's up on the alignment plates right there right now, but only one problem with the car. Bleeding the brakes. The calipers are leaking around the pistons. So can't get it. It's got enough pressure to move around, but after a couple pumps, it leaks. Couldn't figure out where the hell it was coming from before. I had to tighten up all the fittings, this, that, whatever. Then I took the caliper off. I don't know if you guys seen the shorts on it, whatever. Took the caliper off, took the brake pads out, and I seen that they were leaking around the pistons. So that sucks. What we believe happened is when they powder coated them, they took the pistons out, but they didn't take the O-rings out. This caliper, the O-ring is on the caliper side, inside of the caliper, obviously. Piston comes out, boom. There was a little bit of overspray of the powder coat on the top inside piston on this side. I scuffed it up a little bit, but I never messed with that before. Never took the calipers apart before. I've never had to take calipers apart. So he's gonna have to have somebody or whatever, you know, think about it. They won't bleed, can't fully bleed it because of that problem. So now it sucks that I can't test drive it and do some whole shots with it. And we got a beautiful day outside. Well, it's nice enough outside. But yeah. Booyah. Booyah. Rear end centered up. This side's got real nice clearance right there. The rear end within that travel does not touch. When the car is all the way up in the air, it doesn't touch. Keeps that same little gap right there. Some people are like, oh, I'm too close, blah, blah, blah. But you see the back, I got a nice gap. So we know this car had quarters put on it, because you can see inside the trunk, they put quarters on it. I know people are gonna be like, why are you taking all this stuff out? Well, this side, you can see it's very close, but it doesn't hit. On this side, you see how the chrome is. The screw, but the bodywork that's done behind here, you can't do nothing with it. It's like, it's built like that. So, whoever fabbed them and put them on, whoever did the bodywork and stuff. But I got my fat ass in there, and I pushed up and down on the trunk with my kid watching right there to see if it hit. It didn't hit. But yeah, it's dirty. Yeah, it took longer than it should have taken. Didn't know we were gonna have to narrow the rear end for the C-clip eliminators, you know, to clear the caliper to wheel clearance, which, I mean, I could have got away with. No, see the back of the rim right here comes out. So, and the caliper, it almost touches right now. So, the 3/4 of an inch. And then it still could have done the same thing with 1/2 inch. But no, I needed the 3/4. So yeah. Man, I really wish I could fucking have it outside. I mean, I could push it outside. He trailered it here anyways. So, I don't know. Tell me what y'all think about that. If I rebuilt calipers, I could take the caliper apart and rebuild it, but I don't mess with that stuff. But forever, we were pumping, trying to get, could not get that last bit of a firm pedal at all. It just kept falling. So then I kept thinking it was just excess brake fluid from bleeding that was dripping down. So I kept wiping. I'm like, man, there shouldn't be that much. So then I left it overnight, and I had everything wiped up. Came in and it had a puddle on this side, on the ground. So I was like, okay, definitely something else going on. The driver's caliper had just a little drip on the rim because that wheel was on, this rim wasn't. Because this is the one I noticed. So then I had my kid pump it, and as he started pumping, you seen it just start running out the back of the caliper. So I took the caliper off, did the videos, seen around the pistons, and it's all the pistons. The one top back is doing it the most out of them all. I have pulled that piston out and seen how the O-ring is inside there, but it's not like a regular round, it's like a squarish head O-ring that fits perfectly in there, but obviously the fluid's going past it. So we're thinking, yeah, that they baked them with those in there. So whoever took it apart, whatever, probably a simple mistake. Somebody overlooked it, whatever. You know, they pulled the pistons out, maybe they walked away, and then they went and put the tape on there. That tape that, you know, they tape off with that to powder coat, to bake. So, whatever. It is what it is. What are you gonna do? All right, y'all. BANKROLL 10 bedded up. I'm done. Howdies.